Hi everyone. In this tutorial, we will discuss about Unix interview questions. So basically, we'll start from very beginners and then to advanced level. So I will try to cover most commonly asked questions. So let's start with the beginners. What is a shell and what are the common shell and their features or indicators we can say. So what is a shell? A shell is a program whose primary purpose is to read the commands and run other programs. A shell acts as an interface between the user and the system. As a command interpreter, the shell takes commands and sets them up for execution. So if we talk about the shells, there are various type of shells are there. SH is bourne shell, the CSH is C shell, BASH is born again shell, TCSH is enhanced C shell, ZSH is Z shell, KSH is corn shell. So next question they will be asking what is nohup in Unix operating system. So what is the features of nohup? So if we talk about nohup is a special command that is used to run a process in the background. Even after when a user logs off from the system, then it runs in the backend. It also helps in creating the daemon processes or some cleanup of script of logs. It is slightly different from the ampersand, which is normally used for putting the process in the background. A Unix process started with nohup will not stop, even if the user logged off from the system. So syntax will be like nohup, and then after that you can mention the any script name like abc.sh or here sql.sh. Nohup stands for no hanging up. So next question is what is meant by super user? So what is super user? So the super user is a user with all the access of all the files and all the commands within the system. In general, the super user login is to access to the root. It is secured with the root password. General user login prompt is denoted by the dollar, but if user is super user or root user, then prompt will be denoted by hash. And next question is what is a link in Unix? So link is used to assign more than one name to a file. A link is like a pointer to a file. One file can have multiple pointers. There are two types of link. One is hard link. Hard link files are assigned to the same inode value as the original and thus reference to the same physical location of the file. If the file is moved to a different directory, the link will not work. Syntax will be link, ln, and then after that original file name and the link name. Symbolic link is also called soft link. It is similar to the file shortcut feature. It contains a separate inode than the original one. If original file is moved, then the link might not work. It can reference across the different file systems. Syntax will be ln-s. S will be added here for soft link, so remember this one. What is the command to find if system is 32-bit or 64-bit? So you can simply run one command, arch command, and uname -a. So these both command will be helpful to find out whether system is 32-bit or 64-bit. Difference between CMP and diff command. This is the most commonly asked question interviewer usually asks. What is the difference between CMP and diff command? So CMP compares the data byte by byte. If two files are compared, then CMP compare the data byte by byte and display the first mismatch. While diff command, it displays the changes that make the both files identical. So display suggests the changes to us. What is the inode number? Inode number is a uniquely existing number for all the files in the Linux Unix type systems. The inode contains nearly all the information about a file. It includes the location on the disk, where file starts, the size of the disk, when the file was last used, when the file was last changed. What are the various reads, write and execute permissions are there. So who owns the file? This all information comes under inode number. And how to see the inode number of a file system? Just simply mention df-i command, and then it will show the inode number of each file system. Difference between absolute path and relative path. So this is generally asked. So relative path refers to the path related to the current path. So if I talk about this one example cat, and then after that, suppose you have to open the file abc.sh. It is in abc and new directory, but before that we have mentioned tilde. Tilde is used for home path. So we have not mentioned the complete path here. So this is just the reference path, or we can say relative path. If we talk about absolute path, it refers to the exact path as referenced from the root directory. So if we talk about absolute path, whenever we are mentioning the complete path, then that starts with the root directory, we will be calling the absolute path. While relative path starts with from where the current path. Write a command to erase all the files in the current directory, including its subdirectories as well. So rm-rf star, R stands for recursively all the files in the directories and subdirectories. Star for all the files, and F forceful removal of the files and directories. What are the pipes in Unix operating system? Pipes are used for getting the output of previous command as the input of the another command. So if you talk about the example who and then sort, so it will show the all the users who are logged in into the system, and then after that it will sort out those users based alphabetically. So pipe here, the pipe is a intermediator, we can say connector between two commands. So output of who will be act as a input for sort command. What are the filters? So this is little bit tricky question. Don't get confused with the filter. Filters are the programs that take plain text as standard input and transforms it into the meaningful format and then returns it as a standard output. What are the examples? All the commands like cat command, grep command, head, tail, all these commands are called the filters. So here if we take the example cat abc.txt, then cat takes the plain text file as standard input and gives the standard output at the screen. So next question is name different type of modes used in VI editor. So there are three types of modes used in VI editor. One is command mode, another is insert mode, and third one is execute mode. If we talk about the command mode, it is the default mode for VI editors. It is generally used to type the commands that usually perform particular specific VI functions. To enter this mode from another mode, we simply press the escape key. Next is insert mode. This is a mode which allows you to do the text editing or insert a new file or paste the content in that file. To move into this mode, we press the escape key as well. If we talk about execute mode, this mode is generally used to save the files and execution of the command. It is basically used to execute the files with different parameters. To enter into this mode, we must press a colon. So after pressing the colon, if we have to save the file, we can simply mention WQ. So what do you mean by process states in Linux? Linux process has different states. If we talk about these states, these are like new states. Whenever the process is newly created, then it is a process state, new state, and process is ready to run. If we talk about running state, in this state, process is being executed. Blocked or wait state, in this state, the process is waiting for the input from the user. And if it doesn't have any resources to run, such as memory, file blocks, input, and then it can remain in waiting or blocked state. Terminated or completed. In this state, the process has completed the execution or terminated by OS. Zombie state. In this state, the process is terminated, but information regarding the process is still exists and is available in the process table. That is called the zombie process. What is the maximum length for a file name under Linux? So maximum length for file name under Linux is 255 bytes. So next question is what is a zombie process? Zombie process is also referred as a defunct or dead process in Linux. It is a process that has finished the execution, but its entry remains in the process table. It usually happens due to lack of correspondence between the parent and child process. This process occurs for the child process because the parent process needs to read the status of the child process. Once it is completed using the wait system call, the process is removed from the process table. How to see the zombie processes? You can simply run ps-ef and grep caret z. Please note z is small here. Now let's talk about some advanced questions. So now we have covered only theoretical stuff. Let's try to cover practical implementations. So how to see only the hidden files in the system? You can simply run ls-a and grep caret this one. So caret means I will grab the first character slash it is used to neutralize the impact of a dot. Where dot is the first character of a file. Let's see the practical demonstration for this one. So what we can do now, we can check here on which path we are. So ls-a, if I press that same command, which you mentioned there, so we will get the same output. See here, caret, and then after that I mentioned dot here. So it will show only hidden files. So what is the next question? How to replace a word in VI editor? Suppose there is a file and you have to replace a word in VI editor. Let me take a file if how many files are present here. There are no file. Let me go into SCD. So if there is any file here, then I will try to replace the word. Let's see what is in the codes.txt. Or let's take notes.txt. So in notes.txt, lots of things are there. So what we will try to do, we will try to replace the. So how can we do that? Go into notes.txt and then press colon and press percentage s, and after that you can mention the, and the you want to replace with www. That's it. So if you see here wherever is the is there, so it has replaced with www, and the same syntax is mentioned in the command as well. So if you see here, So percentage is, and then after that first pattern, then second pattern. If you mention G is mandatory to mention in case of you want the global replacement, but the I is not everywhere, so it has not taken up that one. And percentage S stands for substitute, G for global replacement. How to find a file which is older than 10 days. So basically simple syntax is that find and then after that dot and then hyphen type F. F stands for files and hyphen M time. Hyphen M time is modified time. What is the next one? Write a command to list all the links from a directory. So you can simply run ls-lrth grep caret l. So how it works? So I will go into the etc path and then we'll run that command cd etc ls-l and then grep caret L. If there are any link available, then it will show only links. These are the links which are available. So let's move on to the next question. Question number 7. So there is a one file named os.txt. You need to replace the word Unix to Linux by sed command. So what is the command to do so? So simply mention sed and then after that hyphen s. S stands for substitution, and then after that you will mention the pattern which is to be replaced and the new pattern which is to be inserted, and after that G stands for global replacement. So syntax is quite similar to vi editor in terms of replace substitution, but this is a mostly different. Also remember one important point: sed will not perform the execution on the file. It will just show in the buffer. This is the output. If you want to store into the actual file, then you will use sed-i. I stand for insert into the file. If you want to learn more about sed, please refer my previous tutorial. I have covered this stuff as well there. So next is how to check the disk usage of current file system or any other file system. So you can simply use du-sh star. DU stands for disk usage, S stands for summary, H stands for human readable form. So whatever the output will be there, so that will be shown to you. It will show the current file system size. If you want to see the size of specific file system, you can mention the file system name. And then after that, next question is how to find the time of a server since when the server was running. So you can simply mention uptime. Let me show you in practical demonstration. So if I run uptime command here, so it will show the system was running since last 23 minutes only. Next one is how to find the host name via IP address and vice versa. So to check the IP address or a host name, then you will use nslookup command. It is very helpful. Simply mention nslookup and then IP address, but you should be having IP address. Let me check if I have. First, let me check host name. So host name is Ubuntu server. If I want to check the IP address of Ubuntu server, then I will mention nslookup and then Ubuntu server. It is showing the IP address of Ubuntu server. You can do vice versa as well. You can mention the IP address and you can get the host name. So both command works. There is no issue with the command. So how to count the number of pattern occurrences in grep command? Suppose we have to find out the word Unix in the grep command. So you simply mention grep-c for Unix operating system. So you can find number of occurrences of this. Next is what is the kill command and what is the signal for graceful kill and immediate kill. So kill command is used to terminate a process. There are various signals in kill command starting from 0 to 15. If we talk about the graceful kill of system, then we will be using kill minus 15 and then after that process ID. So graceful means one process is executing any statement somewhere. So after graceful restart, then it will not kill the process unless it completes its task. But in case of immediate kill, then kill minus 9, that it will immediately terminate the process. It does not care about whether process is completing the task or not if you have mentioned kill minus 9. So how to print the fifth line from a file using the head and tail command? You can simply mention head minus 5 abc.txt and tail minus 1. So head minus 5 will show the first 5 lines and tail minus 1 will show the fifth line as output. So let me show you. So on which path we are now. So let's say one file is there, notes.txt. So what we want the fifth line for this one. So we can simply use head minus 5 and then after that notes.txt. So it will print up to 5 line. And then after that we can use tail minus 1. So it will print the fifth line. So that is the command. How to print the fifth line by sed command? If you have to print the fifth line by sed command, you can simply use sed-n and then 5p and then notes.txt. It will also give the same output. So next is how do you connect to SQL Server from Unix terminal? So you connect SQL Server from Unix terminal by the help of SQL plus command. Syntax is SQL plus username / password and then after that you can add the rate and db hostname. If you don't mention password, then you can simply mention, if you just want to connect to the servers, just mention username and then at the rate hostname, and then it will ask you the password later. To use the password, you can use hidden files so that no one can see the password in the script. So next question is how to find how many CPUs and memory is present in the Unix system. So you can simply use cat proc CPU info and cat proc mem info. So it will tell you about the CPU, how many CPUs are there, and we can simply run this command. So let me run this. So simply mention cat etc. So no, it should not be in etc. Cat proc and then after that CPU info. So it will tell you more information about the CPU used in the operating system. So if you see here CPU cores are one, so there's only one CPU is used for this operating system. You can also use the top command. With the help of top command, you can find out the memory, how much memory is being used. And if you have to check the system whether it is a 64-bit or 32-bit, you can run uname -a. So it will, you will see here. So you will see here it is of 64-bit x86-64. If it is of 32, then it will be mentioned, number will be mentioned as 32. That's all about. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe this channel for support. If any queries, please reach out to yes.kumar004@gmail.com or mention in the comments about your queries. Thank you very much.